What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here. So in this video, I have a solo GM run of the Birthplace of the Vile, and I am using my stasis warlock build with osmiomancy and bleak watchers and ice flare bolts. I use the same one for the corrupted, and yeah, it goes super hard. I've got an apex predator with overload rocket, and then the Hail to Storm and Pillar of Ice and stuff. So you want to throw out a couple Bleak Watchers right away. I have Unstoppable Bow also, obviously. So those Void Grenades do a shit ton of damage. But yeah, you want to focus on the adds here first before focusing on the Unstop. And I try to save a couple rockets, so I just use my fusion rifle. So Solar Surge is also on, and this week Stasis Surge is on, but that's because I had the selector node. So normally this is a Strand and Solar GM, but I really wanted to run Stasis here just because it's fun. And I also have Reservoir Burst and Envious Assassin on this fusion rifle, which means pretty much all my shots, because I'm using my bow so much, so all my shots have a 25% damage boost thanks to Envious Assassin, or thanks to Reservoir Burst, but because I'm getting my magazine overflowed by Envious Assassin. So here, I just take out the overload, and then you can actually use your Hail Barrage to block all these adds, and then when you blow them up, they get knocked off the edge. So that's another way to save some ammo, and I had almost knocked off that other overload. Not captain, chieftain as well. So here again, I'm just trying to get freezes off because that's what does a lot of the damage with this build. And unfortunately, this part was extremely ugly. I had so many runs that were cleaner than this, but I also died on the boss room. So this is the one we get, sadly. A lot of it is just kind of luck and RNG, because it depends which enemies get frozen. And unfortunately, I didn't freeze any lurkers and they push up on you, but it is what it is. And then I keep throwing Bleak Watchers down, because as they freeze enemies, they when they shatter, that deals damage, and it deals even more damage thanks to Hail the Storm from the seasonal artifact. So I hope this becomes kind of like the baseline freeze damage in future seasons, because they did say they're reworking Stasis for Final Shape. But yeah, anyway, you can see 2.5 minutes, that's not too bad. And so much of that damage was just coming from like shatters. From the Bleak Watchers just freezing those high health targets and then shattering them. So that is where this build really shines. You can save a lot of rocket launcher ammo just by utilizing your bow and Bleak Watchers. So I have Whisper of Rending on, so my bow hits even harder on frozen targets, and then Burgloss Curve at base already hits harder on frozen targets. So there, I almost died. You can pop pretty much immediately, and again, I've had runs here where everything just kind of got frozen right away, so I wasn't even like close to dying. But again, you can't really control what the Bleak Watchers take out. So if I were to hit my shockwave on the super right now, it's going to kill all those adds. But you don't want to do that, because then they respawn anyways. So that's why I waited till the last possible second to do that. So since they were frozen, they're not really a threat. And then you just pop it just as the plate is capturing, and then you don't have more adds to take out. So if you weren't running this stasis build, you could, I think it's like 2 minutes of ad wave. So you can just sit there and stay off the plate and just kill adds for 2 minutes, which is what I did on my Solar Titan. And I just killed adds with Sunshot the entire time. But that obviously takes longer. So with this, I just let the Bleak Watcher freeze everything, and then I stay in my super for the damage resistance, and then just pop it. So these raiders, once there's only 2 left, they'll run to the front. But you can see the Bleak Watcher putting in work, so we're able to take them out before they would sprint up to where the where all those enemies are. So I procced bait and switch there by hitting my fusion off of the... Sadly, reconstruction doesn't get my rocket loaded in time. But I procced bait and switch, which allowed me to take out that overload captain with ease, which is great to do from there, because once you step up, like up to that rock where I am, that guy will put down an immunity totem, and then all these ads become immune. So you want to deal with him from way back there, like I did. And yeah, that's the one downside to running a fusion rifle here, is it's just, it's hard to hit at a distance, but it is possible, as you saw. So then you're able to proc bait and switch. So anyways, that was pretty textbook. This run as well, I got really unlucky with ammo drops. Just haven't got like any heavy this whole run, which is fine. That's how it goes sometimes. I'm running Solar Scavenger on my boots, so for every heavy brick I pick up, I get 2, and for every regular brick, I get 3 rockets. It's very good to know how much you get each time, and to pick it up when it will be the most beneficial. Like, you don't want to pick up a regular heavy brick when you only need 1 rocket, because normally that would give you 3. So wait till you fire off another couple rockets, and then use that heavy brick. So here I wait to throw my Bleak Watcher, because that allows more enemies to run down, and the more you can take out here, God, I hate raiders. That is just bullshit. He just stays immune forever. The more you take out here, then they don't run back inside. If you start damaging them too quickly, they turn around and then they're inside, and you don't want that. You want to deal with them outside. So then here, using my Bleak Watcher turrets, I'm just going to take everything out. So I only have 1 rocket, and I have to take out that overload that's up top. Also, I get extremely unlucky. The 2 chieftains down low, they're random. Like, I've had 2 solar before, and solar is the best. The arc ones are annoying because they shoot like those little bouncing ball things that are really hard to avoid. And the void ones are annoying because they make enemies immune, like you saw. But the solar ones are super easy to deal with. So that's what you want here, if you could like choose. But I get the void, so luckily I get them down. And I'm throwing those Bleak Watchers up there in hopes that I can slow that overload so that I can kill them. And then I want to deal with those enemies because I need to focus that overload because I only have 1 rocket. So I use that rocket, and then I'm just trying to get a Bleak Watcher on it right away because slows will... slowing overloads stuns them. So as soon as I shatter it, unfortunately it gained its health back, but I was able to like set up and do that. So that's where the fusion rifle is really nice, supplemental damage. That guy very nearly killed me. I hate those void chieftains. Like, those blades hit way harder than you think, and void threat is on. So yeah, you take even more damage from void. So I should have thrown down a Bleak Watcher earlier. I didn't realize like what a threat he was, but yeah, I almost died there just because I was, in all honesty, I wasn't playing carefully enough, but I didn't really think I had to there. But yeah, if I had died, I would have just wiped and pretty much did what you just watched for the last 8 minutes and rinse repeat. So here, I like to always throw out Bleak Watchers back there because it'll freeze them. And again, when they're frozen, they take more damage from my bow. And then I froze that first Screeb so that my Ice Flare bolts can go to the other Screebs and just like pass around the freeze, which does more damage. And you can see just how quickly and easily I took out all those Screebs. So yeah, that's why I used my Penumbra Blast on that front one. So here, I'm not wasting my my Bleak Watcher yet. I'm gonna bait these other 2 raiders that come up. The reason you don't want to use your Bleak Watcher is those guys won't come up here if you throw it too soon. They'll get trapped down low, and then they're very unpredictable, like where they'll be and like how you'll deal with them. Where if they're up top, you can just back up, do what I just did, and now you're in a good position. So this is one thing that sucks about that bow. Like, you can't really hip fire it at will, because I would have liked to just hip fire on those Screebs, but you can't because you'll throw out your hail barrage. But it is what it is. It'd be nice if there was a way to like activate it rather than just hip firing it, but whatever. So you can see again, the freeze just makes this part so easy. Not that it's extremely difficult, but those Screebs can kill you if you're not careful, where I'm able to just freeze them and dispatch them whenever the hell I feel like it. So here I've got 7 rockets, so I decided to use a Bleak Watcher and just keep him slowed and take him out with the fusion, because you want lots of rockets for this next part. And just as a rule in general, like that guy, plus I had special in the ground back here. So that guy is super non-threatening because a Bleak Watcher can keep him overloaded the whole time as long as you're shattering the freeze, so then it applies the slow. Because when you shatter the freeze, it loses all slow stacks, so then it reapplies slow, which keeps him overloaded. So that's why you want to do that there. He's the only enemy up, and you have a Bleak Watcher, so he's super easy to deal with. So it's not worth wasting rocket ammo on him because he's not a threat. And then you have more rocket ammo for times when you'll need it. So here, I throw down 2 Bleak Watchers, and I'm saving my super for the plate. And then there, I use my rockets because these guys can be a threat. And there's a ton of other enemies up right now. So you want to get them down as quickly as you can so that you can deal with these other adds and at least get 1 champ down. Once the adds are dead and there's only 1 champ, then it's not a threat. But when there's other adds like circling you and whatever else, yeah, you want to get 1 champion down quickly. So now I have so much green on the ground, so I'm just going to use my green, do a finisher. So again, now I have 4 rockets for this part. And it's really nice to have rockets because you can spawn kill the adds as they come up when you're trying to cap the plate. So on this plate, this is the harder one to cap just because of where the enemies spawn. So this is where I like to use my super. That's why I cap this one first, because then I can build super energy while I cap the next one. So here, you could see my Ice Flare Bolt kind of rebounded onto that chieftain, so I didn't have to throw that second one. I was able to just hit the shockwave again. And then boom. So that is textbook. Like, that was very nice. You want to hold your super as long as you can. And then the Ice Flare Bolts spread to other ones when you shatter them. And yeah, that just worked out really well. These lurkers are super annoying because of their shields. That's why I was like, screw it, I'll just use a Bleak Watcher. I can't remember the name of the fragment, but when I shoot those crystals, you can see I have improved ability regen. So that makes me get my grenade like 300% faster. So I'm very liberal with my grenades. And now I have 3 armor charge and I have grenade kickstart. And when I pick those up, I have innervation on my boots. So just like that, I have a Bleak Watcher, like a full grenade charge that quick. So that's why I used it to help me take out the lurkers, because I can get my grenade so fast with this build thanks to Pillar of Ice, where after this season we won't have that, but you can still shatter crystals from your hail barrage. So I always put down a rift about the time that I just did, because when he spawns in, he's deadly, and I don't have a super, so you want to dispatch him very quickly. And if he gets some shots on you, it's really nice to have a rift because he can melt you quickly. So again, this was a very good cap. And the reason I'm taking out all these adds is because I want heavy ammo. So I have heavy ammo finder on my helmet, and getting kills with your primary is kind of what procs that. And then exotic primaries procs it even further. So there, that would have been 5 rockets worth of ammo, and I picked up only 4, but it's because I'm moving to the next stage. So I'm probably not going to backtrack and pick up the ammo anyways. You could, but I don't think I do here. So you want to get 1 out, and then I use the hail barrage, and then ideally you'll take out the whole group. There, I miss a freaking headshot on the guy, and then get rushed. But yeah, it all winds up fine in the end. He's frozen. I don't have to waste heavy ammo. And that's another thing. So that Bleak Watcher, it's doing freeze damage, which is doing more damage this season thanks to Hail the Storm and Solo Operative because I'm solo. So that's just supplemental damage. So my fusion rifle is able to like chunk that guy big time because it has Reservoir Burst, it has Major Spec. So that's 25% more damage on Res Burst, 7.7% more from Major Spec. Then I'm getting the freeze damage, which is enhanced from the artifact. And like the Bleak Watcher, when it applies the slow, like that's a bit of damage. So yeah, it can take out unstops really, really quickly with this build, even without rockets. So this part, again, it's good to just be careful. So I send out a Bleak Watcher first because those raiders that are up here, unfortunately, it's not shooting at the raiders. So they're still shooting their stupid little purple blades at me. And then you have to watch out for those Ravagers that push you. So I'm just waiting until he comes over so I can take him out. Again, being extra safe, taking no chances. So there, I get an ammo drop. So that's really nice because there's an overload at the end of this. So now I don't have to take him out slowly. And there, I just procced bait and switch. So as long as I land this, I can clean him up. And then I heard that guy beside me. And again, I'm taking no chances. Unfortunately, my one rocket didn't land. But then he drops me ammo. So now I'm basically just going to have to rinse, repeat what I just did. And you'll see it does work the second time. So this is very long range. But if you can land both your rockets, that overload will die. So here, again, I'm just proccing bait and switch, land my fusion, land my bow, and then just line up my shot. But unfortunately, bait and switch was already procced. Not necessarily unfortunate, but if I hadn't got a... Like, if both of those shots landed without bait and switch, I wouldn't have killed him, I don't think. Maybe I would have, but I'm not sure. But yeah, the only reason I played him from there is because that's where the ammo was, so it just saved a bit of time. He also could have ran up, killed him from up close. This is one annoying thing about bows. Like, I was hitting that guy, but they're projectile, they're not hit scan, so sometimes they like hit invisible walls. But anyways, then I had a ton of ammo. So sometimes you get in like an ammo drop, like... Anyway, heavy just starts dropping, so you want to slay the hell out. Unfortunately, that's not a good area for it to be. Well, it actually is, because the ammo that's in there actually stays in between the boss phases, because you go back in there between phases 2 and 3, and that ammo will still be there. So that actually worked out good in my favor. But sometimes you get in those ammo drop runs in a spot that you'll never come back to, and you don't need heavy at the time, so then it's just kind of wasted. Like, I would like a heavy ammo drop run in this room, because then I could easily take out these 2 chieftains very quickly. So that's why I shoot a rocket on the 1. Just because I need to get him down quickly, because your Bleak Watcher will go between the 2, and the slow on the Bleak Watcher only keeps them overloaded as long as it keeps applying that slow. So it can be unpredictable if there's multiple up. But anyways, you want heavy ammo in that room because here's where you have to use a lot of heavy ammo. There's 2 yellow chieftains and there's 2 unstoppables. So I throw out 2 Bleak Watchers, and then I cast my super, and then I just keep shattering and let the ice flare bolts do their thing. Unfortunately, that immunity thing goes up. And then here's where you got to back out because those unstops will start shooting you. So you have to get back to cover so that they don't kill you, which is unfortunate because like something like a Dawn Chorus Dawnblade goes extremely hard here. The Stasis Warlock Super is fucking trash, to be honest. Like, that was some pretty piss poor damage. And this is with Stasis Surge. I know Balador's makes it better, but still, I think the Warlock Super needs a buff. Like, it's weak. And if you're throwing out your ice bolts, it doesn't even last that long. The only reason it's decent here is because I throw out Bleak Watchers, which freeze everything, and then I just hit the shockwave, and then it freezes more stuff with ice flare bolts. So if it wasn't for all that synergy, the super would be even worse. So what you want to do here is just keep throwing out Bleak Watchers pretty much whenever you have them up, so that it can do chip damage on all these little lads. And then right there, see, it hit that boss, and now I'm doing double damage whenever I hit him when he's frozen. So I should throw another one out, which, okay, good, I do, because I was just about to have two grenades. So now here, I'm going to deal with one unstoppable, or at least get him low. But you do need to make sure you're going into the boss phase with at least 3 rockets, because there's an overload that spawns at the very start of the boss phase, and you have to take it out immediately. Otherwise, the arena will just get covered in purple immunity orbs, and you're pretty much fucked, because enemies spawn in pretty rapidly in that boss room, and if they're immune, like, you're just gonna die if you don't have a super. So here, unfortunately, I only have 4 rockets, so we're just gonna chip everything down slowly. Where if I had ammo in that room, which one run I did, I've had a run where I was less than 20 minutes to get to the boss room, and right now I'm at 21, still working on these ads. But that is literally just ammo RNG. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. Actually, a lot of the time. Like, it's rare that you get ammo when you really, really want it. But like I said, where I did get it isn't a bad spot, because that's in between damage phases. So, no, and especially going into the last damage phase, it's really nice to have rockets, and I'll get to why that is when we get there. I mean, obviously, it's nice to have full heavy, but I'll point out why it's so good on the final boss phase. So here, I'm just going to push up, and that guy TP'd. The ads teleporting in this game have been so brutal this season. So unfortunately, I didn't throw down a Bleak Watcher before that. And then there I used my powered melee, but because I had my gun cock, it didn't do it. And I'm not sure what goes on with my frames in this spot, but yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, that was a little sketchy, and I didn't get any heavy from either of those big Scorn guys or the Unstoppables, which is kind of rare. Usually I'd get at least 1 heavy brick from them, but I didn't. So that was good that I saved my 4 ammo. So anyway, here we put down 2 Bleak Watchers, and then we're going to start the phase right away with 2 rockets to try and take out this overload chieftain. So we fired in. I'm not even worrying about bait and switch, because honestly, like, that might take too long. And I put a rift there because that boss sometimes, like, rotates on you. So again, that was really textbook. Like, that was quite nice. And then I just want to get in position. That's why I fire the rocket there, because they're spawning. And I do have my Hail Barrage, but they were spawning mid. And yeah, I wasn't set up yet. Now I am kind of set up. We float, we throw that, and boom. Look at that. It literally kills every single ad. Meanwhile, that Bleak Watcher is doing damage to the boss. Like, if you pay attention to the boss health bar, as I kill these ads, that's really weird too, to get 3 middle spawns, which really sucks. Middle's like the worst spot, because it's the hardest to rotate to, because you can't really use cover to like take those ads out. You kind of have to keep moving, like I did on that first one, where here I can shoot this and then I can get behind that thing, that little statue thingy, or display, or whatever the heck it is. So yeah, 3 middle spawns wasn't ideal, but we got it done. And now they're spawning on top, but he just spawned in that thing. So you need to take those immunity totems out, like, immediately. And what's nice is when I shot that Hail Barrage, it auto detonated because that boss had, like, ran up on it. So that's kind of nice. So it took out those ads without me even having to shoot it. But yeah, you have to be on top of those immunity totems, like, ASAP. And then there again, the boss takes that out. And now look, his health bar is split up into 3, but he's halfway down his first health bar here. And then the ads, I think there's 7 waves. So I wasn't really counting, but I think that's the last wave that we just took out. So now, basically, every time you have a turret up, you want to throw it. And then I'm using the turrets to freeze them again, and then I'm just popping my shockwave. But sadly, he took out my turrets, so I'm not going to get as much super damage as I could have gotten. Like, those turrets are kind of weak, even though enemies don't always like focus them. But when they do, yeah, they don't like last long. So I cast my Rift to activate Bomber on my class item for that extra little bit of grenade energy. And then Whisper of Rending with the bow. We're hitting 13,000 to the crit. So that's really good damage. Plus, your draw time is reduced. So this bow actually does really good DPS when things are frozen. And you could see just how good it was for ad clear. Like when those ads were spawning in, they were like dead immediately. And the problem used to kind of be with stasis is it didn't really have that AoE ad clear. It could... see there, I probably shouldn't have wasted my Hell Barrage, but I shouldn't. Because you want to go into the next phase with 5, and hopefully I do. I think I wasted on one of these. But anyway, and even there, I could have waited and came back for that heavy, because then I could use one rocket on this overload at the end of this run, like at the end of this hallway. But I decided not to, but then I think I have purple up there, so it doesn't wind up mattering. Again, all that changes is just how you're going to take out the overload. If you're low on heavy, you're just going to use a Bleak Watcher, and then you don't go into the boss phase until you have both grenade charges. Like, you want all your abilities. You want your super and all your abilities up every time you're going in for the next phase, because the most dangerous part of the boss room is the very start of the phase, in my opinion. Except maybe on the last phase. Well, no, it is. But the last phase is also difficult because you have stupid raiders to deal with. But yeah, the start is so sketchy because there's always what the hell? There's always a champion, and again, you have to deal with those champions quickly because the unstops are super dangerous. The arc that those abominations throw hurts like a bitch. And then the chieftains, they put up those immunity totems, and you get 2 different immunity totems on the field at once. And yeah, it's game over. So here, what we do is we throw down 1 Bleak Watcher. So here, very bad luck. They spawned over here, and I wasn't quite ready. Because, yeah, so for the unstoppable, if you look closely at the ether that comes up out of the ground, there's one with like more ether, and that's where the unstop's going to be. So the one I went to was the 2 one, like only 2 ads spawn there, and then the other one was the big one. So I guessed wrong, and it spawned at the back of the room, which it doesn't always do that. Sometimes it spawns like where I'm standing now. So yeah, again, just a very unlucky spawn, but you have to read and react and be quick on... So yeah, the boss is in a really tough spot there, so I have to reverse course. But yeah, this is why it's so hard and so chaotic at this part. So I'm getting Bleak Watchers down to basically cover my ass. And then they're immune, so I have to rotate. But luckily they're frozen. So now we can deal more damage, and now we have control of the room. Now we got some Bleak Watchers on the field, we're not scrambling, and both abominations are down. But until those abominations are down, it can be very, very sketchy. So now I have a Hell Barrage, and there, like, that boss ported far and fast. So I very easily could have died there. And I think that's really like the only time I was in like a bad position. But I'm trying to think. I don't think he usually comes up like that far. So there, I could have moved quicker and got a Hell Barrage on them and probably taken all the ads out. But then I'm like, okay, I'll just use it here. And yeah, we just caused destruction, and now the ads are out. And now we have a Hail Barrage ×4. I'm gonna use that on them there. So yeah, those wraiths have more damage than like typical red bars. So that's why this phase is a little tougher than the first phase. Just because like in the first phase, I was taking all those adds out like immediately. And for some reason, I'm just like scared to move off this point. I don't know what my deal is here. Like I could have rotated up there, Hail Barrage them off spawn and been fine. But I was just like kind of pinned down in that corner, afraid to move. But anyway, we made it work. But yeah, honestly, rotation is good here. And those wraiths are melee enemies only. So if you keep rotating, they're not going to be able to hit you. I can't think of the name of the other ones that spawn with them, but they're not like especially dangerous, but I think they do have guns, so they could shoot you while you're rotating. But like if you run Burst Glide especially, you can kind of like run quickly. And there, I don't know if you noticed, but the freeze damage from that boss actually broke that totem. So that's another nice thing. Kinetic Tremors can also break the totems. So yeah, there again, he was immune for a sec, and then the freeze broke it. And yeah, once again, I didn't have to do like any rockets for boss damage. I was just taking my time, and he was just rotating and getting hurt by the freeze like every time adds were spawning in. And then you can just chip them down. So again, I'm being careful. I know I have that ammo, but I'm still keeping 2 just because, like, again, it's not a speed run. Why would I waste ammo, rocket ammo on the boss when I can just use Bleak Watchers and my bow to chip them down? It wouldn't make sense. So here again, you just have to be careful for those Ravagers. They'll sneak up on you. And just get that first wave of adds down. And then, yeah, you just keep rotating. And then throw another Bleak Watcher out. There's my ammo. That was from the time before when I was in here. He's going to get frozen, but I can't hit his crit. And yeah, again, you want a full Hail Barrage going into the next phase. So you're going to like shoot your rockets down, deal with that chieftain as quickly as you can. And then you use your Hail Barrage to take out like the rest of the adds, or when there's a good opportunity, maybe the next wave. So of course he's got a immunity totem down. I go ahead and use a Bleak Watcher so that I can safely like not miss my rockets, you know? And then I didn't even have to proc bait and switch there because he was getting frozen. So that shatter damage plus the rocket was enough to take him out in 2 hits, because overload rocket does extra damage to overloads. And there's there's enemies on the right, so I could farm ammo off them. And what I did there was I broke those crystals for that improved ability regen. I wait till I have both my things charged, and there again, so that's the full ether. That's where that guy's going to be. And immediately this asshole spawns an immunity totem. But I guess like the shatter damage, or the explosion damage, sorry, took out that totem. Thank God. So I popped my super because I was a little bit panicky. And then these guys, raiders, are the worst in this boss room. Like 100%, because they rotate behind your cover. So like in those other instances, I was able to... So that's why I use so many rockets on these guys. You'll see I'm just constantly using rockets because they're so dangerous. Because they will rotate beside you, and you can't even hit them because they go immune. So unless you have them like frozen, they like go immune and crap. So I probably didn't need to waste my Hail Barrage there. That was kind of dumb. But yeah, so you'll see I use a lot of rockets on these guys. There, like I could have just shot a bow because they were all frozen. But again, I'm not messing around here. When you're on this final phase, and I was lucky too, I had a bunch of ammo that was right there that I picked up. But see, I'm too far to get there in time with my bow. So I'm just gonna shoot 2 rockets. Pretty much deal with all of them except for one, and he gets frozen. But yeah, be liberal with your rockets here, because once you're done these phases, you're home free. Like literally. There, extremely annoying. But the freeze damage broke it on the second go, so that was good. And then, yeah, like stasis is literally god tier in here. Consecration Titan is awesome, especially in a fire team, because you can kind of split up around the room. So if you can get to the spawn point in time, just before they spawn in, you can just do a consecration melee and everything's dead. And then, like suspend would be really good here. Suspend hunter, like have the two suspend grenades, stuff like that would be really good. Yeah, just stuff that is good at locking down zones. And you can see like stasis was god tier for that. So now I believe that's the last one. So I only have one rocket left. Like I used quite a few off rip, and then also some on spawning ads, and then I picked up 5 more rockets, and now I'm down to 1 rocket. So yeah, but like I said, it is worth it to use them on the ads, because those raiders do not mess around in here at all. They are very dangerous. Because yeah, like what he's shooting that dumb bullshit. Those like void blades, like they hurt. And unfortunately I had put my Bleak Watcher in a dumb spot there, where he was like obviously going to hit it, because here's where we kind of post up and he doesn't move much. So now I put it in a much better spot, because he's going to stay back there, so now he's not going to destroy this one. And I'm so close to a super that I can taste it, and I'm out of like all my other ammo, so I'm just burning everything now. Burn that, do as much damage as I can so that I can get my super quicker, because it works off like dealing damage. And then we just use a super to finish. So yeah, overall, it was a pretty clean run. Like the boss room, like I said, that one time in the top right corner, he was in a bad spot where I could have died. But overall, played it pretty well, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you're still watching, thanks for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.